Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. Today I am working with the October 2018 Clique Kit. I am new to the YouTube design team and this is my first layout for the team and using this kit. The kit is full of Pink Paisley's Auburn Lane. And so on this day, I started with no photo, and all I knew was I really needed to use that paper, that vellum, and the cut file that comes in the kit. And I wanted to do something like this, where I would use those leaves behind a photo. So then I come back the next day and I have a photo, and now I'm just going to go through and try to find items to layer behind my photo. My photo is a picture of my daughter, and she is laying on the floor in our basement in front of our first fire of the fall, and we're watching football, and it's very warm and cozy. So I thought the warm and cozy card fit really nicely. And so I'm going to go through the ephemera and some more of the cut apart page and try to find things to layer. My main goal right now is just finding things to layer around behind the photo and behind that warm and cozy card. And as I'm going, I'm finding some other things that I think I might actually use on the layout as well. So I'm just going through, and this is the first thing that I've made with the kit, and so although I've seen the kit and gone through the kit, I haven't like looked at every piece of ephemera or anything like that. So I'm also, as I'm going through, I'm like, oh, I didn't know this was in here, and I'm kind of looking through things for the first time and finding things that go with the layout theme and that go with the colors that I'm using on this layout. So the vellum is a kind of a light mauve pink color, and then it has a lot of gold within it and some white. And so I knew I wanted to use that kind of mauve color. And then in going through the ephemera and things, I found this kind of mustard yellow that I liked, and the kind of darker burgundy color, wine color. And so that's kind of what I stick with, is the wine color, the yellow, and then of course the light pink and some gold comes in as well, because that's in these leaves. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you're not, then this is probably nothing new to you. Welcome back. But I am a person that does not glue until I'm pretty close to being done, and so that posed a problem when I was doing this layout, because I was as I was working, everything I would do would move those leaves, and I could not get it to work out. So I do eventually glue them down, I promise. But I did. You're gonna watch me struggle with them a little bit. The other thing, I do apologize for the quality of the video, the lighting and such. It has rained for nonstop. It's like I feel like I need to build an ark. It's just been raining and raining and raining. And as I'm doing this voiceover, it's finally sunny for the first time for what seems like months. And so I'm having to use a lot of artificial light, and I don't like it when I have to do that. I mean, I always use it, but I usually have natural light as well. And so I do apologize for that. It kind of goes in and out as we go through the making of the video here, of the layout. So I'm finding some ephemera that I really think I'm going to use. I'm not sure how much of this makes the cut, but I didn't want the white around the outside of those hearts and those sorts of things. So I went ahead and just cut that off. Just don't be afraid to use the embellishments the way you want to use the embellishments. So they're yours. And if you're not going to use them with the white around the outside, which sometimes I do, but in this case I really didn't want to, so I just cut it off. I also altered a card. So there was a yellow card there, and I wanted the heart off of that because there weren't enough hearts for me. So I found that pink heart to be useful. I'm not even sure if it ends up being on the final layout, but I did cut that out as well. So don't be afraid to alter what's in there to meet your needs. So what I've done here is I've added a few layers, and I'm starting to glue a few things down just to each other, not to the background at this point, but I know that that's kind of how I want my layers to go. I'm thinking I'll probably put the date on right underneath where it says warm and cozy on that frame. And then I'm bringing out my thread. I'm going to use some tangled thread on the layout. Imagine that. I'm not sure if this is actually what I end up using. I think it changes as we go here, but at this point I was thinking kind of some pink and some of that kind of golden yellow color. So anyway, so I've kind of got an idea of what I want for my layers at least, and so I think here in a few minutes I might finally glue down the leaves. So I'm getting them in their kind of their final state here, and then I'm going to pull up my photos and glue them down. So I have a lot of questions. People ask me a lot of times about what kind of adhesive I use, and so you're going to see me as I glue these down. I'm using a liquid glue right there, and it is just a Scotch quick dry glue, and then I put it in a fine liner bottle. And I use the one with the yellow top, and I don't have to water it down or anything. And it's great to use with cut files especially, but if you're doing any mixed media, I don't usually use like my tape runner or whatever when I'm using mixed media. It just doesn't glue as well. The whole reason I'm honestly that I'm using the I didn't do a lot of mixed media on this, but it's just so much easier to get that vellum to stick down with the liquid glue. So that's what I'm using. Okay, so I walked away and I came back and I was like, this is really boring. What else can I add to it? And I went through the ephemera again and I just didn't find what I wanted. So I made some choices to cut that triangle page, and I cut a few of them out, various sizes, and I love the addition of the triangles, and I do end up changing them. Then I decided it was still boring, so I found this cut file called it's Perfect Weather. It's also from Clique Kits, but it's an older one from a different month from the summer. And then I cut it out of the wood grain paper. And I also cut out some extra of those leaves from that wood grain paper. So here's a little fun fact for you. A lot of times when I'm doing something like a title and I want it to be thicker than the pattern paper, I cut it 3 times usually. And then I use my fine liner bottle and I put glue on it and I layer the 3 pieces, and you can't hardly tell. Sometimes it's not perfect, but it kind of doesn't matter. It just adds a little bit of depth. And this adds, I don't know, it just seems a little bit more like you're using thickers then. And I just like it. I just like the way that it looks and works on the page a little bit better. So I don't know that I've ever really shown, I think I did this actually on my last video, but this is the only a couple of times that I've shown doing that on a video, so I thought I would actually show the process there. So I decided perfect weather fit because even though it's rainy and gross, it was the perfect weather to be inside by a cozy fire watching football, right? So I went ahead and added perfect weather for my title, and then I typed on my typewriter a little subtitle, so it says perfect weather for fires and football, or football and fire. I can't remember what it says. Anyway, I don't think that's on there yet, but it will be eventually. So that's kind of how that ends up. And then I add that little house there over on the right with some more tangled thread behind it. I also, in the kit, there are those wood grain, you can kind of see them, it says it's a good home, best ever. I think they're from Jen Hadfield, and I used the one that says, oh, I can't see what it says, something like, I love this home, or bless this house, or something like that. I'm adding a little bit of Shimmerz, the gold, and a wine color. I'll tell you in the comments exactly what the colors are. I'm adding, I think it's pink stilettos. I'm not sure. No, that's not what it is. It's something else. I'm sorry. I'll just link it below. I'll have to look. But I also did a little stamping on the little, what are those things called? The little, Oh my goodness. I stamped underneath the perfect weather where it says that there's little labels down there, and I stamped on those just a couple little phrases. And that is about it. So I'm adding some of this gold shimmers. It's so gorgeous. I love it. And it just adds a lot of pop to the layout. And then finally, I'm pulling some of these gold hearts in. Um, that are on the sticker sheet, and I just add those in, and then I think I am about finished. And I really like how this turned out. I forgot the flower. So I am not good at using these kinds of flowers ever, ever, ever. So if you watched my video where I did the unboxing of this, I said I probably wouldn't use them, frankly, unless I challenged myself, and I did challenge myself to use it, and I do end up using it right there. Yay, and I like the way it looks. I can usually not use them. I like them. Other people use them. They're wonderful, but I can never get them to work. So there you go. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and I will see you in my next video.